Why do donors say yes to your organization? That's what we all would like to know, right? And I asked a few entrepreneur friends of mine to share with me why they donate to one organization and maybe not to another. And I got really good answers that I'm going to share with you. And one of them, I promise, is super surprising. So, as a nonprofit leader, you and I are constantly on the lookout for money to do our work, right? We're looking for grants, we're looking for donors, we're looking for sponsorships, we're looking for any kind of contribution that will help us work on the mission and vision of our nonprofit. And sometimes you can feel like you're a headless chicken just trying something here and there and running around. And it would be so much easier if you would really know what works and what doesn't work. And so that's why I asked my entrepreneur friends to give me some ideas of what makes them donate and say yes to one ask and maybe not to another. Yeah, so the first thing that all of them mention is that they need to have a personal connection. So there could be, of course, a personal connection that we spoke about before between their dream and your vision and mission, that there's an alignment between what you want to do with your nonprofit and what they want to see happen in this world. So, on the level of values, a connection. But it can also sometimes be very simple that it's just a friend or family member of theirs who's doing a fundraiser, for example, on Facebook or something else, and then they say yes because they know the person and they want to support that person. And apparently, this person cares about your nonprofit, right? So that's why they then donate also. And of course, that could be a bit tricky because that could be the donors that are nice to have for once, but they might leave, right? They might say, they might not stay. So, how can you keep in touch with those donors and make them maybe interested to keep donating to you? I'm Suzanne Bakker. I'm a nonprofit operations strategist, and I love all the things that most people find boring, like finance, admin, HR, contracting, project design, project proposal writing, and so on and so forth. And that's what I talk about in this channel. So if you like it, please subscribe so you'll be notified when I have a new video out. Now I would like to ask you to share in the comments what your experiences are with your donors. Do you have a lot of loyal donors who stay and who donate maybe every month or every year? Or do you have a lot of donors who just give once and then aren't interested in further updates and information and support to you? I'm really looking forward to hearing from you in the comments so that I can make another video that will be tailored to your situation. So let's go back to the question, wouldn't it be great if you can keep the donors that you have, that you've won through a fundraising campaign, maybe of somebody who's a friend of that donor, and to keep them interested, right? And so what my entrepreneur friends said when I asked them, like, why are you donating to a certain organization? They said the impact, other than the personal connection, impact is super important. So they want to know what their money is making possible. They want to know how the community, how the people that you work for are going to benefit from that money. And they want to be able to visualize that. And so, one of the things that can help with that, of course, is storytelling, and especially if you have video stories, but it can also be written stories or audio stories or picture stories, as long as it's a story where it's clear that there's a problem and that your work with their money is able to solve that problem or make the impact of the problem less. And one example that one of my friends mentioned is that there's a video of a stray dog that's homeless, sleeping on the street, being very thin and very unhealthy. And then the shelter, the local shelter, which is a volunteer-led organization, is able to catch him and take good care of his health, but also of his social skills, and is able to rehabilitate that dog so that it can find a new home and be happy in a new family, right? So that's a sort of feel-good story that people like to see. and that people like to hear, and that they like feeling that they're part of creating that kind of success. Yeah, so that's what they really appreciate, if they can feel part of that. Yeah, so if you have such stories, then tell them to your donors. Don't just use them in your campaigns, but also tell them to the donors that you have, as an update, for example. When you send them a thank you message, you can say, thank you. With your contribution and that of some others, we were able to do this. And then you can share the link to the video or an attachment or something like that. And thanking is something that most donors also appreciate a lot. That was mentioned a lot, where everyone said, yeah, you can never really send too many thank yous to donors, and they appreciate it very much, especially if they feel that maybe they haven't been able to give a lot. Then they appreciate it if they get a thank you to acknowledge that whatever they donated has had value for you. So that's super important to them also. Then another thing that's very important is to make it easy for your donors, right? To have a very easy clickable button or a scannable QR code or something like that. And one other thing that can make it very easy for people to decide to donate is if you have a sort of a menu, like different options of a small amount, medium amount, a high amount, or the possibility to maybe donate a very small amount monthly or to donate something annually. That is something that can make it very easy for a donor or for a person to decide to become a donor and to support you. And one person literally said that it makes them feel so good if they can donate monthly just with an automatic bank transfer. Um, and they don't notice, because it's really a small amount, so they don't really notice it in their own life so much. But when they look at the bank statement, then they feel like, yeah, I've been donating, I've been supporting this nice NGO, this nice nonprofit, and it makes them feel good. Yeah, so that's also super important. Make it easy, give them choices, and then again, make sure that you thank them, even if they feel that they are not donating a lot. It's not hurting them, but it makes them feel good, right? And then here's the thing that surprised me the most. And that was when several people said, when I asked them, so what do you feel about administrative costs or management costs or something, overhead costs, indirect costs, whatever you call it? How do you feel about that? And then everyone said, it's okay. We understand. A nonprofit needs management. Nonprofit managers need to be paid. They need to have a normal salary so that they can also have a life and take care of their family, and so that they don't need to have 3 other jobs on the side. They can really focus on the nonprofit. And so people do understand that it's important that a nonprofit has paid management. Maybe in some cases it needs an office, it needs other things that are not directly needed for the community, but that are needed to make it possible to create that impact for the community. So donors do understand, but what they would like to see is that you're open about that you're transparent, and that you make clear, like, what is the amount or what is the percentage of their donation, of their money, that's going to you, to your team, to your organization, and not to the activities. And they want to know that. And then they also want to know that you are prudent with that, right? So they want to be sure that their money isn't used for luxury salaries, staying in a 5-star hotel after you've been flying business class with your $200,000 salary. That's not what they like. Yeah? That's where they think, yeah, that's not proportional for the, if you look at the cause and the people you serve, and then this level of luxury. But they do understand that you might need to travel somewhere and that you might need to stay in a hotel, and it doesn't have to be like sleeping on a campsite, right? They do understand that, but they want you to be open about that and clear, and they want to be sure that this is all within reason and handled with prudence and care. Yeah, so for that, it can also help if you're not only open about that, for example, also in your annual reporting, but if you also make clear that you have processes and systems in place and controls to make sure that your policies are really being implemented and followed properly. Yeah, that's super important. If you have all of this in place, the personal connection, the impact stories, the many thank yous, the easy way for contributions, and the menus, the options for different levels of contributions and different frequencies. And if you are open and transparent and honest, then you have a chance that you will find donors who will stay with you, who will be loyal donors over time, and with whom you can build those relations that we spoke about before, and who can become ambassadors for your organization. And having ambassadors for your organization is super important, for instance, if you want to run a crowdfunding campaign. If you want to learn from my experiences in setting up and running a crowdfunding campaign, join me in the next video. See you there.